You know, that just so I believe it. Like, you're believing shit without proof, to believe shit without proof, to believe more shit without proof, to hate a guy because what? He's the president and you're not? Your party's not in power? Like, what the fuck?
All right, back to it.
All Trump supporters are bigots or racists. Okay, fine. You can believe that. But when
What?
I look at all the people who put things like that on the internet.
Hey, that's hilarious. Hold on. He said not all Trump supporters are bigots or racist. You can believe that, but bro, come on, bro. Just say that not all Trump supporters are racist or bigots.
He can't say that. You can believe that because I believe it.
That, but you come on now. It's like
so much so that I'm willing to terrorize them in their church.
Yeah, I mean, because according to Don Lemon, we're all racist and bigots.
Yep.
99 times out of 100, it is a Trump supporter. So people should think about that as they are placing those things on the internet, as they are wearing
Muslims.
Yeah.
Muslims.
Well, I mean, talking about that, there's a fake flight manifest that has like 100.
That you're on it.
Yeah, I'm allegedly on it. Obviously, you know, if you want to see who was on that flight, there are court documents, and there's like a handful of people whose names you might know who were. You know, who were ever on any flights of his.
Here's the same tag they ran. WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, about 2 months for the election in 2016, releases millions of emails. So everybody goes and jumps in them and verifies them and checks them. And there's all these emails about upstate New York and other places with the Podestas, with others, like, hey, we're going to have our Thelema rituals tomorrow. You know, we're bringing the spirit cooking. That's blood. And it's all in there. And there's famous emails where, and it's a well-known woman that ran a service where kids come and play with you, and you can order them online and stuff, and it's her delivering the 3 children to John Podesta at the wooded facility, and then they'll be in the hot tub waiting for you for your entertainment. And this is all the reality. Well, how did they divert off? They then had the New York Times and CNN report on 4chan and 8chan, diverting off to a pizza place in DC that the people were part of, but nothing was really going on there, with imaginary underground torture facilities that didn't exist, so they could go report on the fake story instead of the real stuff over there. You understand? So that's how they were discrediting it, saying, oh, there's no Epstein, there's no pedophilia, it's all fake stuff about us. And that's another thing happening. Somebody's flooding Facebook, X, TikTok with famous footage of Trump at beauty pageants and things like that.
Young girls, these are all AI deep fakes. They're everywhere.
And they march in the little girls. Yeah. And it's admitted fake. You can even see it's famous videos of Trump. You can find the original video at a pageant.
But they work. Even if 20% believes it, they work. You know, some of these clips, I don't know about this one. No. There are some of them that's literally young girls. You'll see like 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls that deep fakes are being made.
It's the one that starts... It's the one that starts with there's a bunch of them with like a little girl crying on stairs holding her crotch. It's not pornographic, but it clearly the implication she's just been raped, and then it cuts to all these shots of Trump at Mar-a-Lago and stuff that are known videos that we know and then they mesh them in with all these little girls. They're crying and Trump's pointing at them, and then they cut in. Yeah, it's sick.
Did you see the 2006 phone call that the president made to the PD saying, hey, Ghislaine Maxwell's evil, that story that came out 2 days ago? You saw that? Rob, if you want to pull that up. Trump told Palm Beach police chief, everyone knew about Epstein. Maxwell was evil. Go a little bit lower. So why did this story not come out earlier? Why is it coming out now?
Well, this is spinning like...
I mean, here's more proof that Trump was pretty much an informant. Trump called then Palm Beach police chief Michael Retier to tell him that Epstein's activities with teenage girls were well known in both New York and Palm Beach. Once again, Donald Trump being an informant and not a participator or a conspirator or co-conspirator.
It doesn't matter, Set. I'm telling you, like I get it. You can do lip service to it all day long. You're just gonna be fucking labeled as a fucking simp and a shill. And
that's all right.
I know, but it is frustrating because either people are just trolling or they really are that stupid. Either way, there's no getting through to people. They're going to believe what they want to believe. And the more evidence that comes out that exonerates Trump, the more they're going to say there's more evidence that he's hiding. The more and more, like, Every single time, like Alex Jones said, it's a cornucopia. The more you dig into it, the more that there exists. It cannot end. It will never end. He can release all the documents. I remember going back and listening to a video that we did a year ago, and it's fucking us talking about the files, and we're talking about a number about 135,000 is how many files there were, and now it's 6 million. And next week it'll be 10 million, or next month it'll be 10 million. When they release the rest of these files, there's going to be even more files. And it's not going to end, because as long you don't have to prove that Trump did anything. There doesn't have to be the smoking gun, right? Nothing has to exist that proves that Trump did anything, or that there's anybody that
Yeah,
we
but
can
here's
go
the thing,
after.
though. Let's stop
It's just
saying,
the
let's get out of the
idea.
mindset that we're doing this for the Dems, and let's get into the mindset that we're doing this, well, for justice. Like, because I think the problem is we keep on thinking, well, we'll just satisfy the Dems. We'll just satisfy the Dems. Honestly, I don't care if it satisfies the Dems. It'll satisfy me. That's what I care about. And
I mean, that's what I care about.
yeah.
I've been satisfied since I read the first fucking release of files. I've been satisfied since I knew about the Trump reporting him the first time. I've been satisfied since I realized he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, since he fucking said the things he said. The fact that Trump's DOJ prosecuted him in 2019.
I don't know. I'm maybe like 70% satisfied. I'm mostly satisfied, but not all the way there. It's just some of the redactions that are a bit iffy, and it's just like,
you can't get to a point of satisfaction, because there's always going to be that looming doubt in even my head that maybe if one more document comes out that they're actually hiding, like it's a catch-22.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be anything on Trump. I just think it's gonna explore more of the corporate elites, and that's what I'm for. I ain't really look. I already know everything there is to know about Trump and the Epstein files. I'm looking for other people that I've been knew about, and some of them I do believe is in those Epstein files that haven't been dropped yet, but most of them has been revealed due to the current drop. So, like I said, I'm 70%.
But think about this. Prince Andrew just got arrested for public misconduct, not for sexually assaulting a female, not for that picture that we saw of him. The statute of limitations has expired. I'm sorry, guys. It has expired. You cannot prosecute these people under the law. You can't. So stop sitting here. Go find them in their houses and occupy Wall Street their asses. I do not endorse violence. This is not a condonation of violence. But like we're at this point. You can't do anything about it. Why? Because Democrats protected these people.
But Monty, you know what's the scary part about this is that now, if this is what we're being told, that the elite class can do this, and as long as they got money and they pass the statute of limitations, I mean, we can't get them. I'll be real with you. You're gonna have a lot of Luigi Mangionis out there on the streets.
But that's the problem, right? We have fostered lawlessness and this corruption for so fucking long, and we would have never known about this had Trump not been in office. For the record, we would have never been exposed to any of this. It would have just kept getting swept under the rug and hidden, because it's a Democratic conspiracy, just like the Russiagate shit was a Democratic hoax. Are you tracking? It's a Democratic hoax where they're just projecting the crimes that they did onto the candidate to try to run op-eds on him. That's all it is. That's all this is a fucking misdirection on, don't look at me, look at this guy that we all equally hate together, and we can also blame him for, everything bad that's ever happened in the world. And if we just put that juju on him, then we can feel better about our own miserable lives. It's not my fault that my credit score sucks and that, I've amounted to nothing in life. It's actually Trump and the elite's fault.
Oh, and shout out to my man Wesley. Says not everyone that committed crimes or that was working with Epstein or buying from Epstein are American. You're right. I mean, there was guys like Saudi Arabia. There was Middle Eastern guys. There were guys in Europe, guys in France. I mean, bro, there's guys all over the world that was involved in
because he was designed to run an operation to get blackmail on people so that Israel could fucking pressure people. They did it with money. They did it with money. They did it with propaganda through the news media. They do it with our banking system, and they're doing it with our politicians. And if they can't pay them off, they extort them. That's the deal.
And just enough on this note, I mean, let's be real. When it comes to, like, I'll be real with you, information brokering, man, the Israelis are your guys. They're your guys. But all right, let's get back to it.
It's bad that he said they were bad then, but now he says it's not bad now. Roger Stone wrote a book on this. We were all vetting Trump. I was, right before I endorsed him. I was one of the first to do it. It was on record and it come out in court that Trump dropped the dime on him 18 years ago because he pulled Virginia Giuffre, who was like 15 and worked there, out, and he got pissed off about it. And so you even have Michael Wolff in recordings going back 5, 6, 7 years of them trying to get him to say something about Trump. He's like, no, he never got a massage. No, he never was around the girls. He was never around the kids. No, but he did drop a dime on me, and he's a piece of shit, and he's the worst guy ever. And he's such a scammer, and he rips everybody off in business, which means Trump beats people. So I mean, it's literally Trump dropped everything Roger Stone told me back when he was trying to recruit me to support Trump, that Trump was going to win, which I vetted and got into. He explained how it all worked and how they're going to attack Trump for this, but it was really Trump first exposed it. And then now all that stuff has come out because Roger lives here. I mean, he's been at Mar-a-Lago since Trump got it. He's been Trump's friend for 50 years. Everything Roger's ever told me has been accurate. I mean, he told me, and by the way, I like Steve Bannon. I don't think Steve Bannon's a bad guy. He was involved with Epstein. Epstein was very politically powerful. He was really the shadow head of the Trilateral Commission. People say he can control these world leaders. He really did. Okay, the emails of Bannon are, how do we overthrow the left and get populists in the UK? And he's asking Epstein advice on that. So, I mean, Bannon calls me all the time and sends me links and says, how do we do this? How do you put pressure on that? Hey, we need to get on this. That's Bannon works like 18 hours a day. I'm not defending it. I probably wouldn't have hung out with Epstein. But the contacts with him are there. And it's what Bannon always said they were. It was elections. It was contacts, because Epstein was like, you could get any number you wanted, any information from him. So Bannon was going, he even says in the interview, are you the devil? You're a pretty bad guy.
Can you pull up that clip?
But I mean, he's like going to the Trilateral Commission. This is David Rockefeller handed it over to him.
How many hours was that? Did he say 14 hours?
Well, they say there's a whole bunch of hours, but I think all the feds got was like 2 hours.
Wolf has 100 hours. I had Wolf on, and we talked about it. Rob played his clip.
I told him the devil,
100%.
the devil
himself.
The devil himself said, "I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life."
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Sorry.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody knows
smart?
The devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is the
Bannon for asking this.
Number 1 or 2 archangel. And the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie once called American Dharma. I don't remember who said it. Okay, we have to go.
Okay, good.
Okay, I told him.
So, and so there are. I'm not saying Kabbalah itself is satanic, but any teaching has its dark and light side. But Jewish mysticism, goes back to King Solomon and even before that. And in the Old Testament, they say you don't get involved in it, but then you get the New Testament start getting written. Like there's 30 plus other books, written by the rabbinic mainline, Jewish groups since then. And then there's a bunch of books written by Solomon, and I've actually read them. And that's the symbol of Israel, is really the seal of Solomon. It's not the Star of David. That's just a made up modern name. But in all of that, there are experts on it, like serious scholars that don't really practice it, but know how to decipher it. So remember when James O'Keefe got footage inside that showed the temple and gargoyles and everything inside the blue and white striped temple with the gods and goddesses on top of it, and the chimeric gods, mix of animals and humans. So, but by the time O'Keefe got that footage, somebody had erased the answer to the equation. So he had this esoteric equation, but only if you do Kabbalistic research and then all the modern stuff, AI and everything integrated into it, would you then get the answer? And then the answer is the takeover and total enslavement and destruction of humanity, and how they're going to use AI and all these other systems integrated into the banking system to do it. And then when you watch the interview with Bannon, he's talking about, and that interview was like 2018, he's talking about how the AI is already out of control. We don't know how to program it. It's going to take over, but it's okay. We're going to merge with it. And you can see that he's at the highest levels of all of this, planning this with big tech and everybody else. I mean, it's truly insane.
Yeah. By the way, you were mentioned in the files, 14 times? And I think in one of the letters, he said something negative about you and called the president an elephant. I don't know what it was. Jones is crazier than Trump or the elephant. Who's Paul Krasner? Who's Paul Krasner?
He's a globalist. You look him up.
Yeah.
But there's actually 16 we found now.
16.
Yeah, but I like the fact he doesn't like me.
That's a compliment.
But I love how
similar to Rogan.
I love how my enemies spun it though. They would spin it like Jones is in the files, he won't respond. And I'd see all these comments. I'm like, what do you mean I didn't respond? I just covered it as soon as I knew about it. It's like, but they just throw it out like. Anyways,
who is this guy, Rob?
This is Paul, according to Google, this is Paul Krasner, the person that was emailing Jeffrey Epstein, this specific email right here.
Got it. Question for you about Thomas Massie, Rob. Can you pull up the clip with Massie and Bondi? There's a part about Massie and Bondi going back and forth. This is it. I want to get your thoughts on Massie. Go ahead, Rob.
Respond, and then the gentleman can move to the next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
Red-handed. There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
4,700, and we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to get. You're a failed politician. You need to get on these matters.
Chairman, please restore his time and remind the witness of the rules here.
There is no credible information.
What do you think about Massie?
I think this is the only time where she was right. But I think Massie overall is the good guy comparatively. So I'm not putting him down. Just if you look at this one play, because I did see this last night. One reason I didn't sleep last night, I got addicted watching all this. This stuff's too riveting. They did leave Les Wexner, who's a CIA controller, an owner of Victoria's Secret, a bunch of brands.
He's the one that gave the largest private residence, Manhattan, 54,000 square foot house to Epstein as a gift. That was a $77 million property for no reason.
And he just so happened to own the house that Lutnik moved into next door. It was
who owned it? Wexner?
Yep, same
I didn't
deal.
know that.
In a trust.
Really?
In a trust, yeah.
Wow.
It was called Common.
So he bought it from him. Lutnik bought it from Wexner?
He didn't even know that, and that's actually true, because I spent hours seeing if Lutnik was lying about this. It was just some big Manhattan real estate trust, but it turned out it was owned above it by Wexler and Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, those things you can't control. I live in an area where Paul Castellano, the boss of the, one of the big, I think it was the Gambino family or the Colombo family, who owned the house. So, hey, how did you get the house? Some of those things you can't control. But go back with the story.
And did Al Capone retire and die or something?
Yeah. You hear these types of stories. But go back to Massie. Massie saying that about Bondi. You were going to say something.
Oh, there's so much to say about Massie. I mean, here's the deal. I've tracked this. I know the people that got involved, talking to Massie, Emerald Robinson, and so many others. Literally just got him asking questions a couple years ago, even before Trump got back in, and Massie was on this because the American people want it. That's why we're covering it. And then Trump gets in and says, yeah, we're going to go look at it. And then says, no, there's nothing there. It's a hoax. And we're like, what do you mean? And now there's all these documents. And then Trump starts saying, we got to get rid of Massie. He's a traitor. Trump started that. Trump is committing political suicide again with little cuts.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing. I mean, look, I can agree to going against Thomas Massie when it came to the big, beautiful bill and how he was holding out on his vote and all that good stuff. You know what? I get that. But the Epstein files, honestly, they shouldn't have been going as hard against Thomas Massie about that. They went harder against Thomas Massie voting on the Epstein bill than going harder against him going harder than when he was voting against the big, beautiful bill. And you know what? I can't be mad at Thomas Massie. I really can't. He honestly did what he was supposed to do, as a congressman. And the fact that they're trying to primary him out of his position was not working, by the way. It kind of shows that, Massie, he's kind of right. And you can't just primary some guy just because they disagree with you on the Epstein files. Like, let's be real. It wasn't the best decision to target Thomas Massie because of that. And if y'all were going to do so, you should have did so during the big, beautiful bill debacle.
He ran off MTG. I know the inside baseball on that. And I still support him. I've been nothing but persecuted supporting him. I don't get any money supporting him. All I get is attacks and lawsuits by the Democrats because overall it's good what he's doing on so many fronts. He's dismantling the globalists. He's really bringing 20 trillion in jobs back. Already about 8 trillion invested. He's already got energy prices down substantively. So, but I have a responsibility still to report. He went and started a fight with Massey.
Why?
And made weird statements about his wife after she died. And then he attacked MTG. And listen, MTG isn't running for senator or governor. She's always been a successful woman in her own right. Had a very successful construction company making tens of millions a year.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to her, good friends with her. I knew she was going to resign 5 days before she did. She said, I think I'm going to step down. I can't handle it. And she said, Alex, this is off record. But then later it came out. She said it again, so I can say it. They had a deep fake AI saying it. That was cold, though, from real statements she made, basically. She goes, the last time I really talked to him at any length, he just said, listen, we can't have these files come out because it'll hurt the stock market. It'll discredit America, the faith and credit, basically, and it'll embarrass my friends.
Who said that?
Trump.
Said it to who?
Her. And
yeah, because in the Epstein file, I'm be real with you, it calls out a lot of market manipulation. Like, it goes to show that there was market manipulation going on, and Epstein was also a part of it while committing financial crimes or working with the biggest financiers. It does show that there was a bit of market manipulation. And if you're telling us that our markets are doing well because of these child pedophiles, then please, we're okay with it being all tear down. But if we're saying that, well, we got to keep them there because the Dow, I mean, a lot of people aren't hearing that. I mean, including myself.
Now you got Bondi yesterday saying it in the Congress, but Roger Stone, when he was president-elect, said, "Hey, just so you know, this Epstein thing's gonna be a big problem." And Roger doesn't mind me saying this now, but he said Trump's had the CIA come to him. He didn't tell me what Trump said, but they have dinner all the time. And he goes, Trump thinks it's going to ruin the economy, and it's a big tar baby. And the Democrats have had the file, and it's a setup, and the intelligence agencies say it can bring down the whole country. So, don't expect Trump to, but. Again, you can see how it's an unending fiasco. Like, in a way, Trump's right, but you can't let them get away with what they did. And again, it's 99% Democrats, so he's giving his main enemies the victory. And then he's talking about how Bill Clinton's a great guy and a nice guy, and too bad he's got to testify to Congress about this. And Ghislaine Maxwell's a nice person, obviously trying to defuse things. And then meanwhile, he comes after MTG, who would literally, eat his shit off the floor previously if he asked her to save the country. And Thomas Massey, like a Ron Paul type, was just very, very.
I mean, that was a very crude way of putting it. Like, MTG, who would literally eat crap off the ground if Trump told her to. It's like, well, goddamn. But no, yeah, I'll be real with you. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene had real loyalty towards Donald Trump, and it kind of faded after the Epstein files. That was her. Line in the sand right there is that, look, if you ain't trying to release these Epstein files, I can't rock with you. And I respect it. But the problem is that MTG made it more about, like, what was it? She started going against his economic plan, immigration plan. And if this was all about the Epstein files, then why not just stay on that? And I'm glad that Alex Jones mentioned that she does own a construction company and she makes like tens of millions of dollars. And, so crazy, she was actually brought that up, talking about, well, construction people use undocumented immigrants too, and it's hurting us as well. But then you were the main ones championing how we should also be deporting these undocumented immigrants. And then she's trying to change her position to be like, oh, no, we should focus on the H-1B visa immigrants. Oh, you mean the immigrants that you don't utilize? No, let's go after both of them. But, hey, that's the two-faced stuff that I didn't like that came out of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Serious about his convictions. And so Trump turned them into enemies, made them more popular. Massey's more popular, even though they're trying to primary him, and put out that lie that she was polling bad. So that's why she didn't want to run. Trump didn't want her to run for the Senate. She didn't want to run for the Senate. So they just make up this bull. They attack their own party, and it's the stupidest thing ever. So, I mean, again, I need Trump to succeed, but this is so dumb.
Yeah, Massey doesn't give me the vibes of a bad guy. But when I watch Massey, he gives me the vibes of a good guy that he disagrees with him. What does he say? His famous line is, I'm with the president 91% of the time, and the 9% that I'm not is when we're fighting pedophiles and, a couple other things that he says there.
Attacking Iran. But, I mean, that's the other thing. Lake Tahoe was pretty.
Was that what you say? Tahoe?
Tahoe. I love Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe. See what it is.
Yeah.
So sorry. What was I saying?
Massey.
Yeah, like squirrel. Yeah, no, Massey's the type of guy that comes off a farmer, nice and friendly, but you start messing with him, he's going to fight back.
He's a fighter.
And so,
yeah.
And you can tell he actually likes it now once the fight's going. Yeah. So it's like Trump, you keep picking fights with some of the.
You think he is a possible candidate for 28 for those that feel Israel's got a little bit too much influence, and for those that don't like the way Epstein was handled, you think he could be a leading candidate for 28?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if he can win, but he could definitely run and get a lot of votes and inject that issue into the larger discussion.
Massey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's formidable. Mm-hmm. I think he's formidable, and he's got a following. There's certain people that swear by him and follow what he has to say. And, more and more you see him talk, you're like, okay, I was with Rand Paul the other day at D.C., and we're doing a conversation. Of course, he's a libertarian. I've spent time with his dad as well. And you see the way they think is slightly different, but there's logic behind it. There's reason behind it where the average person can say, this guy sounds like a reasonable player. How do you think this is going to end up? And maybe the better question, Alex, is this. How long do you think this is going to?
Hey, and shout out to my man Molotov Juicebox. He says Pam Bondi's up for impeachment. Seems worth that is worth covering. Hold on, man. Let me go ahead and see if I can find something on that.
Going to be a story that they're going to be talking about.
It would have already been gone, and they would have busted some of these top guys, and we have moved on. Because the trail is cold. The FBI, Epstein, who ordered a truckload of acid to dissolve everything the first day he knew he was under investigation. I mean, the really bad stuff's been destroyed and erased. The people that know are the young women that are the survivors that were really accomplices in most cases. So we have the witnesses. We know who they are. They're right there. And that's how they contain the whole thing. Not demonizing them. It's just a fact if you understand investigations. And so the way Trump keeps doubling down stubbornly, it's only going to get worse, a bigger black hole, and it's already just murdering him in the polls, distracting from all the good work he's doing. And his greatest strength is his greatest weakness. He was always, as Roger Stone says, thick-skinned, pig-headed in a good way, doesn't give a damn. And he says that, he said Trump, even before Butler and all the persecution, had a total I don't give an F attitude. He said after Butler, it was intense. He said now, Trump just does not care. He says, I'm on a mission. I'm going to save the country. I know I'm not involved with Epstein. I know it's a diversion. I know it's all the Democrats. Right, so I'm not going to even have this tar baby fight. And if the American people don't want to save things and you want to impeach me and remove me, he literally says in there, people come in and say, sir, we need to do something about this. He'll say, and it needs to be like this. He'll start screaming at them. Like, remember, sometimes he goes, I'm sorry, I'm hoarse. I've been screaming at people behind the scenes. And he has a legendary temper. But it used to pop out a lot. Now it's like,
specifically on this topic.
Yeah. Or if you bring up the poison shots, he brought Kennedy in and they're restricting it and cleaning it up. He never admits he's wrong.
Poison shots, you're talking about the vaccine, COVID
Absolutely.
vaccine. Yeah.
And the thing is that the Democrats can't bully him and the media can't intimidate him. That's a good thing. But then it also, when his constituents are like, hey, this is what we elected you for, that pig-headedness becomes a problem. So it's hurting Trump. I don't see, a month's 1,000 years in politics. Who knows what's going to happen? I hope we win the midterms. Here's what I want to say to the American people. We need to start discussing just being pragmatic. It's terrible. This is bipartisan cover-up. The Democrats act like they're not involved in cover-up. They are. Explain how the cover-up's working. Explain how bad it really is. Who's behind it, the intelligence agencies. And that it's far worse than anybody can imagine. Keep educating. Keep exposing. Discredit the power structure. Discredit the system. And then run candidates for office that are more hardcore and awake. And support Congressman Massey, support Tulsi Gabbard, her work, support all the good people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that's just knocking it out of the park, and just say, hey, too bad Trump destroyed his legacy. Too bad, he put a big scar on how wonderful all this was in populism, but populists getting people.
I mean, yeah, shout out to Deuce Juicebox. It does seem like an article for impeachment was put against Pam Bondi. Let's see here by Representative Summer Lee, Democratic District 12. Let's see. Yeah, she's the one who introduced it. Yeah, Lee introduced articles of impeachment against Attorney General Pam Bondi. Well, and let's see, Representative Summer Lee. Let me see here if I can bring her up here. Man, it's just all black women today, huh? I mean, first was that Kimberly girl. Now it's this one. Not as attractive as Kimberly, but all right, though. But yeah, this is the lady that is bringing up the articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi. This lady right here. It's American politician and social activist serving as a U.S. representative for Pennsylvania's 12th congressional district since 2023. So it's been 3 years on the job. She's a member of the Democratic Party. Her district encompasses the majority of Pittsburgh and the eastern suburbs, including parts of Westmoreland County. All right, if you're in, Pennsylvania, you know where that's at. You know what I'm talking about. Me, I don't. But all right.
Berlin isn't going to be perfect. Populists are winning everywhere. This is the fourth turning. So Trump just rode in on a wave. More waves are coming in. So we don't let Trump define us. We define ourselves by what we stand for, and we are exposing it all. And I'm the guy that first talked about Epstein. So whenever I expose the deep fakes, people go, oh my God, you're covering up for Trump. No, I'm covering the real things he did and calling balls and strikes. So there's a hysteria just to say everything's real instead of actually doing their research. But I think this is going to grievously wound the Trump administration, and it has the potential to derail the American recovery.
What happened to the Trump that would fire people? First administration he was in, he fired Scaramucci within 10 days. I think 30 to 40 people that he appointed.
Man, I mean, if you weren't acting right, your ass was cooked with Trump. We need that Trump back. Like, bro, as soon as the news came out with you doing something incompetent, you were fired, man. Bro, it was hilarious, bro. He was literally running the White House like a show of Apprentice. It was low-key entertaining.
Fired. This time around, his retention, he went from 43% turnover on the first term. Right now, they're at 28, 29%. How come he's not firing anybody?
I'd like to answer that question, but I have had a bunch of tea and coffee. I'd like to
use a restroom.
I'd like to piss like a Russian racehorse, sir.
Right there to your left.
I'll be right back. Thank
you want to go do that, Rob?
A very suspenseful mission to shake a branch.
Go do your thing. Go do your thing. Is now on an administrative leave after assaulting a documentarian on campus. University officials confirmed Wednesday. On Monday evening, Luke Perez, an assistant professor affiliated with OSU, legislatively mandated Salman P.J. Center for Civics, Culture and Society invited E. Gordon G. to speak to his profiles in American leadership class. And what happened there? What happened to go a little bit lower? But after G spoke to the class on the building, DJ Barnes authored the local left-wing newsletter Rooster, and Mike Newman, a local documentarian, intercepted G as he exited a public restroom. They began asking him questions about his awareness of a campus doctor's sexual abuse of student athletes during his presidency. His recent defense of Leslie Wexner, a billionaire and former board chair of OSU, whose communication with convicted sex offender Epstein are under scrutiny, and his decision to sell OSU parking lot.
Man, I swear to God, bro, OSU... Yeah, when it comes to sexual assault cases and all this crazy stuff, it's riddled with them. I mean, Leslie Wexner definitely has a huge spot. I mean, I think his wife or his daughter also is on the board at OSU. Abigail Wexner, I think, is that his daughter? I think that's his daughter. But yeah. So that's one of the main things about OSU, which they're getting heat right now because of all the affiliation that they have with Leslie Wexner, and how some of it kind of is linked to some people who are doing some outrageous things. Like, I remember I was hearing about the campus doctors who are sexually abusing student athletes. I've been heard about that. And this was like maybe like a couple years ago, but I didn't think it was going to lead into Leslie Wexner. And there's been other cases as well that's involved OSU staff, which seems to be a reoccurring theme, sadly.
To a private equity firm. That's what it was questioned about. Very, very interesting. How can you imagine how deep these stories are that a professor is going wild over a reaction like this? And by the way, in a minute here, when Alex comes back, a clip came out about what happened in Canada. And I'm going to play this clip before Alex is coming up. And by the way, Alex is coming up, so I'll have him watch this because he shared it earlier this morning. And again, for those of you guys that are watching, send a Manek to Alex. Any questions, any thoughts, you can officially
the real demon possession?
We're going to go to that, but I want to ask you the question first. First administration, President Trump fired a lot of people. Mooch got fired within 10 days. Nearly 40 people he appointed got fired. Turnover was 43%. Now turnover's in the 20s. He's not firing people. Why is he not firing people?
I've got a good idea about that, but I didn't answer your question from 30 minutes ago. So or 20 minutes. I should probably answer that first because it answers this question. You asked me, you were giving Trump advice, what should it be about Epstein? And I really did answer your question, but I didn't explain it right. The answer is you can't tell him anything because he doesn't listen. I mean, he's gotten to that point now where he would listen to certain people, and if you could give him facts, he would change his mind. And he's gotten to the point where that's not the case. And now, if someone just kisses his ass, and by that, it's not that he even wants the attention. If they don't argue with him, then they can just stay around as long as they just tell him what he wants to hear, because he is beyond confident. I mean, at 79, he's just, and so I wish we could get Trump to be a little bit more retrospective about that and listen to people that have only given him good advice in the past. He needs to fire Bondi. He needs to fire Blanche. He needs to bring in hardcore people. I mean, look, if you're not going to indict the Epstein thing because it's old and a mess and we get all that, not that I agree with it, but I get the logic. I understand the thought process. I think it's a mistake. I predicted you'd make the mistake because I knew about your advisors. But we need a bunch of Ilhan Omar indictments. It's cut and dry. We need real deep state indictments, people like Comey and Brennan and Clapper. The public wants justice, and instead we haven't seen any of that. And going back to his first administration, Trump was really hands-on in the minutia, and he was checking on what people were saying. He was checking on what they were doing. I think he had more energy back then, and he focused a lot more, at least at first, on that. Then they came in and started calling everybody who was bringing in Russian agents. They got rid of Flynn and Bannon and others, so they kind of paralyzed Trump. Because he really only fired folks that first year, if you remember, until the end that he fired again. Yes. So they paralyzed him with the Russiagate and putting him on defense and things. And then COVID, as a big distraction, brought out David basically brag as a way to derail his recovery and take back globalist control. They called it Disease X, and how they would get UN control through that. So the Operation Lockstep plan from 15 years ago that they implemented, basically as COVID, but that's a whole nother issue. So that's that answer. What was the other one?
No, about why he's not firing people.
Oh yeah. So
why he's not firing people.
I mean, I don't know specifically. I know pieces of it.
I mean, he replaced Waltz. Waltz went from, one position to another position. That's not a.
Yeah, he went to a national security advisor, which now I believe Rubio. I believe Rubio is now running that, and he went from national security advisor to our advocate at the UN. So yeah, he now speaks for us at the United Nations, which I mean isn't too comforting, but it is what it is.
Fired. You're moving somebody, right, to kind of save face with media. But there's a lot of people that Trump 1.0 would have fired that he's not doing today. Why?
I don't know the answer to that question. What do you think?
Is it media? Is it control contact? Is it?
Oh, I've been told exactly.
Publicity?
I've been told by the people at the White House. They say he doesn't want to have the embarrassment of someone being fired. He thinks that legitimizes that there's a scandal that they've done that's wrong, and so yeah, that's his main reason. I mean, you can just answer your question for you. Yes, Trump doesn't. He thinks it's bad publicity to fire people. There you go.
Okay.
Which again, you got to fire Lutnik. He's a likable guy. He's really great economy. He did move in next to Epstein. He said he went over to his house with his wife. He goes, there's a massage table. We give really good massages, the right kind. They were creeped out, never talked to him again. Now we learn, there was this meeting and that meeting.
And that's what sucks about Lutnik. It's like, bro, why? You were doing such a good job. Like Lutnik, Scott Besson, those are some of his best performers. They were actually getting ish done. But now that Lutnik lied, I'm be real with you, even he's doing a great job, but even I'm of the mind that, bro, you need to step down. You literally lied to the American people, said you never met him again after that creepy meetup, and here it is, plain day in these emails, you going over with your wife, kids, and some nannies onto Epstein Island to have brunch? You know how y'all rich people like to be, brunch. So yeah, buddy, he does need to step down over that, and I'm pretty sure Trump could find a good replacement. But I can see why he's holding on to Lutnik, because one, Lutnik is a complete loyalist, and two, Lutnik is actually doing pretty good. It is what it is.
And talking to him about his nanny he wanted to hire, and then going to his island with his kids. But it's just for lunch for the day. Yeah, right. So it's because of the lying he's got to go. But Trump's like, that's my friend. Plus, it'll act like we've done something wrong. No, the public wants to see action, and then go fry some Democrats for what they've done. Hillary Clinton's head of her foundation was convicted of human trafficking kids out of Haiti. You can't swing a stick in the dark, and with the Clintons not hit real. Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell is on record with the founding money for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, heavily involved there, but mainly with this Open Sea UN treaty, and even bigger, helping set up the Clinton Global Initiative. So I mean, the Clintons and the Democrats and all these people, they're all the people. So again, I know I keep ranting. It just makes me so mad to watch Trump doing this.
All right, let's go to the next story. El Paso.
Yeah, same here. I ain't gonna lie. It does, like, bro. When it came to the Epstein files, I was just like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Don't say it's a hoax, you dumbass. Don't do that, because, bro, they're gonna use that against you, and he did, and they used it against him, and it made him look terrible. And now that now that it's being all released, well, now all the Dems are kind of looking stupid. They're kind of grasping at straws here, trying to make it seem like Trump was a co-conspirator when the Epstein files are right in front of us, and it doesn't prove that. So Trump pretty much did all this fighting, all this BSing us for no reason, which, like I said, made him look terrible.
Shutting down the airport till February 20th. At first, they told us it was because of a, what did they see? They Mexican cartel drones. The clips came out. Rob, if you want to play this clip, these are the clips that we've seen. Do you see the clips up top? Apparently those are drones. Some people questioning whether they're drones or not. Some people want to know if he is using his favorite weapon that they use in Venezuela. You know which one I'm talking about. He calls it the what? Discombobulator. You know, what is going on here, Alex, with El Paso? We haven't shut down the airport since 9/11, and it was shut down for 2 days. That's 9/11, and now you're shutting down 10 days for drones?
Well, we know that's down there by Joint Task Force 6, and it was our own Brianna Morello over at InfoWars that actually broke this early yesterday morning. She is a Pentagon liaison, to the Pentagon, and when she called and they said, we really can't make a comment, and then she first got the news that it was Mexican drones, and then now we know they're doing a drill. They've admitted an anti-drone attack training, and to do that, you've got to have really an active airport. Got to have it really in an active zone. When you're there in El Paso, it's in the middle of the city. It's all surrounded. It's right there on the border. But it's not really overall a lie at the end of the day, because every week now they're having drones come up into El Paso. They're having drones harass the Border Patrol and the Army and Marines that are down there now. The Marines are in some areas of the border. And so it's technically, from what we've seen, not true that this was a drone attack. And obviously that big line of bigger drones, although that's the drone protection grid that they've got on ground and in air. They got a bunch of new systems. Israel has some really powerful ones too, but whatever you're being shown is not the really good stuff they've got. And so from what I've been told and from our sources, they're doing at least a 10-day drill on controlling that airspace, and that they're going to be launching their own simulated attacks by cartels or by